Let me tell you how the science fiction of yesterday has become the science fact of today. 5 years ago, the military came to us because of our unusual expertise. They were trying to build a better thinking brain. I said it was easy. Zombies. So I voluntold some recruits that they were going to hunt zombies. We took those miserable recruits and put them in the darkest alley of the naked city and made them use their little head nuggets to survive. I said, stay hungry, stay sharp, and stay human. Of course, that's not real. But the Office of Naval Research did embrace a zombie game to improve fluid intelligence. And the most interesting part of this story is that the game itself didn't matter. I've spent the past 30 years in the field of education, managing tutoring programs and building software tools to help struggling students. So when we were invited to work with the Office of Naval Research to build a tool that improves working memory, the cornerstone of fluid intelligence, I was very excited. The idea that the brain could be improved through training promised to alter the work I have done my entire career. The problem with brain training is that it has to be rigorous to be effective, and getting people to do the training is hard. So we built for the Office of Naval Research Project Azrael, a first-person shooter game that trains working memory with zombies as the main characters. This experience altered the way I viewed game-based learning as an educator, and it offered a roadmap of how to build effective game-based learning tools. The military, the classroom. We see game-based learning in both. But when the military embraces game-based learning, it looks like Project Azrael. And when the classroom embraces game-based learning, it looks like the Oregon Trail. I know there are several people here who actually loved the Oregon Trail as a kid, but from an educator's perspective, it's not all that good. Why is this the case? I believe it boils down to this. For the military, the game doesn't matter. And for the classroom, the game matters too much. Picture this. Here we are at the Office of Naval Research in a room with top brass and neuroscientists. It's a very serious group of people. And we're listening to one research topic after another on mind-bending topics such as metacognition, augmented neurotherapy models. And then we present our game, Project Azrael Bulletproof Brain Training. No one in that room cared about the game, except that it motivated the trainees to engage in the training longer than expected. They did care about the underlying research of the training activities. And importantly, we had to demonstrate that doing the training in the context of a game at home was as effective as training in a controlled lab environment. Once we met that standard, the Office of Naval Research was just fine with zombies. The game itself didn't matter. Contrast that with the classroom, where there's an assumption that all games are fun and games with numbers and words in them are educational. The game itself matters too much. It's either the boogeyman that kills the intrinsic desire to learn, or it can make any boring content fun. But the truth is, it really depends on the underlying learning activities, how those activities are integrated into the gameplay and the rewards. So what can the military teach the classroom about game-based learning? Forget the game. Focus on the learning outcomes. The game doesn't matter. On the battlefield, mistakes can get you and others killed. In the classroom, mistakes can kill your future. Both of these consequences are serious, and both arenas are trying to address very challenging educational problems. The education space represents a huge opportunity for game-based learning tools. Imagine if we could create the tools that get the balance right. They're research-based, they integrate the learning into the training, and they measurably build skills. They're also highly motivational, but that's reflected in the results, not the game wrapper. Then we can have an ASCII game that teaches math or a zombie game that trains executive functions. Not because zombies are more fun than problem sets, but because they're more effective. You may know that young minds are pliable, but did you know that to zombies, they're also delicious?